What's good with it? It's your homie Mac, live and direct from the Dogon. This is another session of Mac Minutes. Mac music, art, culture, knowledge. You know what it is. Subscribe to the YouTube channel 82 Kings. You can follow the IG Mac TV underscore 82. But real quick, I want to talk about Kanye. A lot of people say, Kanye West is out of his rabbit ass mind. He crazy. He done lost it. Uh, my thing is, I think people get triggered by imagery. They get triggered by words, catchphrases, and I think they don't necessarily always listen to the content itself and what it said. I watched the interview that Kanye did with Big Boy, and he had another interview with another cat. I can't remember. It was a white dude. I can't remember the dude's name, but they were out in Wyoming at his mansion slash studio, whatever that he got going on out there, all the acres of land. And in context of both of those interviews, at no point did I hear him say, "You should vote for Trump. Trump is the guy for us." I feel like he was essentially questioning our conditioning as Black people, um, and not even and by conditioning I mean like the Republicans are anti us, and that could be argued. That could be argued. That's a solid argument to say that historically, but I don't. I think he was just basically saying the Democratic Party, excuse me, the Democratic Party should not be our default, and that politics has largely stratified society. It's like either you Democrat or you Republican. So the concept of being an American citizen that is for forward progress of all seems to be like a diluted concept. You know, I felt like Kanye was just saying like we're putting these boxes. We're supposed to think like this. We're supposed to vote like this. We're supposed to act like this. Carry ourselves, blase splee, whatever. And I think he's challenging that notion. I know the John Jacques Rousseau had a quote where he said, "Man is born free, but everywhere he's in chains." So a lot of us are born into social conditioning. We don't even necessarily question why we think and do the things we do. It's just grandma did it. That my dad did it. My auntie did it. Pookie and them did it since way back then. But we don't even understand why we do the things that we do. So I felt like he's questioning that concept of just not being on autopilot or whatever. And the thing that's really tripping me out is you got some Christians that are going in on Kanye. I mean, this man sounds like he's developed a genuine bond with the Most High. Uh, there's an album out called Jesus is King, and it is number one on the billboards. And I heard it, I liked it. I felt like it was a genuine praise as far as just paying homage to God. I felt like it was a solid gospel album. But the number one album is Jesus is King, and Christians are pissed about it. I don't know. I thought God was about deliverance and people seeking His face, and it sounds like that's what Kanye has done is doing. And yeah, another thing, I think there is a victim culture that a lot of Black people have. And that's no fault of our own. I think there's a lot of learned helplessness. We've been through a lot of bull crap. There's been a lot of policies created against us, but I felt like Kanye was just essentially saying like we got to push through. That's how I took it. I know a lot of people think he's crazy, done lost his mind, and that's cool. But I think that there were some nuggets in there that you could actually glean from and apply to your life. I like the part where he was just talking about not being a slave to people, not being a slave to people's perception of you. And being your own man or being your own woman, having self esteem, not buying into these notions that society has foisted upon you. Oh, you're dark, you're not attractive, or you might be overweight, so you're not appealing to anyone, or just whatever. Like I just think society just puts us they create these little boxes and we just buy into it. But yeah, I feel like Kanye was essentially questioning the mainstream and holding us to task, trying to hold us to task. When I say us, as far as just Black people being more cognizant and aware of why do we think and do the things we do. What has influenced our thought process? What outside of us has influenced our thought process? I can respect that. I can respect the accountability unto self that he's pushing, and just again not being a slave to public opinion. You know, this man has been very transparent about his insecurities, how he had surgery, and how he bought into a lot of notions that mainstream society has propagated, continues to propagate. I think they said loving yourself is a revolutionary act now because we're living in a society today where pretty much people profit, corporations profit, institutions profit off of your self doubt and insecurity. So loving yourself is a revolutionary act. I don't agree with everything that Kanye said as far as us being cultureless, but I think he in the Big Boy interview he did backtrack and say it's not so much as us being cultureless, it's about us not owning our culture. We create the content, but as far as outlets that we own as a collective, we don't really collectively as black people own it. So there's other people outside of our community that are cashing in on our organic culture that we create. And a culture is defined by what music, art, literature, language. It's what they say. Language is the DNA of a culture. You know, so I think that he's pushing a narrative that is really focusing on black people being more self determined and controlling our destiny as far as where our culture goes and monetizing our own culture for our own benefit. But anyway, that's Mac Minutes. I holla, reporting live from the Dogon, signing out. Y'all be blessed.